Hey guys, Tarious here, and today I'll be doing a review of No Man's Sea of Thieves. So, normally for these I have video footage available, but one, I uninstalled the game and have no plans to reinstall it, and I was also having problems recording video with it. So, get ready for some screenshots! You're really not going to be missing anything, honestly. So, for anyone who doesn't know, this game's been shown at the last couple E3s. Microsoft has really been showing this game off. Honestly, I bought into the hype of it. If you can't tell from my other videos, me and Jeremy really huge into pirate games. Our dream is to win the lottery and create a giant pirate MMO. But so far, that hasn't happened yet. Everything Microsoft showed about the game was amazing. The graphics, the gameplay, all the teamwork, it was fucking amazing. But now that it's released, So for starters, it's a Microsoft exclusive, which means you either have to get it on Xbox One or you have to have Windows 10 and buy it from the Windows Store. Which means that one, you're not going to be able to get it on Steam, and two, you've got to pay for an Xbox Live membership, or whatever the hell they're calling it now that PC's involved. But needless to say, even if you do get it and get the free trial, I don't know if they're still giving a free trial with it or not, but I got a 2-week free trial with it, but I only played it for a few days and stopped touching it. So if you get it on PC, be prepared to shell out a bunch of money for an Xbox membership, or like I said, whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays. So anyways, the game. Let's talk about the game. Just starting, you'll see how big of a mess it is. First off, as soon as you join the game, it'll have you choose a character. So what it does is it gives you 5, 6, I don't know how many, but it randomly generates a character with its character creator, and then you have to choose one. You can keep randomly generating one to you like, but still, why don't they just allow you to customize your own character? I had to hit that damn randomize button about 50 times before I found a character that I liked, and still it turned out butt ugly. Once you choose your character, that's when you'll have a choice if you want to go solo or join a group. Solo is essentially, you're going to get butt fucked the entire game. So there's no point in going solo, because if you go solo, you're not going to be able to repair your ship in time. You got to run around and do all the crap that a crew would normally do, which we'll get into later, how big of a pain in the ass it is captaining a ship. And well, we're about to get into the fact that, guess what, there's no tutorial. Once you join the game, you're basically thrown into a bar on a random island. Well, random, one of the friendly islands. But because there's no tutorial, you're stuck trying to figure out everything on your own. The first day, there's all these server issues, so if you tried joining in on the small ship, you were basically thrown in solo. And it was just impossible to get off the island, because it's so fucking complicated to pilot the ships and figure out what you need to do to activate a quest. I don't know if this was a bug or not, but you weren't able to do anything like pull out any of your weapons or items until you ate a banana. I don't know if that was a first day thing or if it's an actual part of the game, but if it was a part of the game, there was nothing that said that you had to eat a banana first. So you can imagine how fun it was whenever I joined a game with a brand new player and we got thrown in. Well, we didn't get thrown. We basically sailed to the nearest island we could, and I couldn't pull out any weapons or anything to defend myself. Now, it's not so much of a problem now that the game's been somewhat established, but the first day you were basically forced to get into a group in order to figure out what was going on. Since there's no tutorial, I'd still recommend joining as a group. Well, there's really no reason to even join solo, because you're going to get your ass kicked in PvP anyway. But you're basically forced to join a group in order to learn the basics of the game, like how to sail, how the quests work. I wouldn't have never figured that out on my own. I'm going to probably mention Blackwake a lot, because that game does a lot right, but whenever it comes to sailing your ship, you basically got the captain who's going to be steering the thing, and then Like for instance in Blackwake, if you want to go forward, the captain just presses a button and it extends the sail. But in Sea of Thieves, you've got to have crewmates go, and they unroll the sails by screwing around with ropes. It just becomes a huge pain in the ass. And imagine doing this solo, where you're up on the upper deck with uh, on the wheel, and then I need to extend the sail. You have to run downstairs, extend the sail. Oh, is that enough? Oh, better go back because we're about to crash into something. It just gets annoying. Now imagine trying to do that, load your cannons, fire the cannons, repair any kind of damage you have, bail out water. Just imagine trying to and fight off enemies. And imagine trying to do all that crap while you're solo and you're being attacked by a full crew. It's just not possible. Not to mention that you've basically had to have someone operating a map and using a compass in order to find out where you're going. And then once you reach your place, the anchor has to be deployed, and anytime you're leaving the place, you've got to pull up the anchor, which requires you to crank it for a little bit. Like, it's just not even imaginable doing that when you're in the middle of PvP. And we'll get to PvP here in a minute, because that's another mouthful. So let's say you have a whole crew and you're sailing around, you know how to get quests and everything. The gameplay is just dreadfully boring. All you do is sail from island to island, and it's the same enemies, same quests over and over. There are a few bosses in the game like the Kraken, but it's just so complicated to even get to that point. And there's also raids at the end where I've never seen them myself, but I've heard that you have to team up with other crews, but it's pretty much kill on sight with other crews, so I don't see how it could be done. Even if everyone teamed up, I can guarantee you the loot room would turn into a bloodbath. But anyways, let's get back to the enemies. You're basically be fighting skeletons, sharks, and snakes, and that's pretty much it. Combat is just boring as fuck. When you go to an island, you're shooting snakes, or you're just hitting with your cutlass. It's the same attacks over and over. 3 swipes your cutlass, or you can hold it and charge and do like this running move, or you can have guns, which pretty much feel all the same. Mostly everyone gets the blunderbuss, because that's what pretty much dominates in PvP. After you set sail, everyone will have a couple quests that they can throw on the table so you can vote on. It's just going from island to island, doing the same thing over. First island, we're gonna go grab this hidden treasure here. Go find the treasure. It's all boring. Throw it on your ship. Then you go to the next island. Like, we're gonna have to kill skeletons here. It's the same skeletal enemies over and over. Like I said, combat's boring. Then you go to the third island. It's like, now I need to. This is a fetch quest where I have to go and capture the chickens and pigs myself. You can imagine just how fun that is. So let's say you complete all those and you've got like a whole bunch of loot on your ship. Well, now it's time to go turn it in. Oh boy, we're going to have so much fun now turning it in. So, if you notice, I've mentioned PvP a lot in the game. If you don't know, you basically join, you join kind of like a closed server where there's, I think it's 6 other ships on there with their own crews. PvP, like if you do a ship-to-ship battle, it could be like really fun. But whenever you get to hand-to-hand combat, that's where the problem starts. Most people don't like running from island to island doing all those quests because besides the fact that it's boring as hell, most of the PvP in this game is just ganking. Why should I have to go from island to island doing all those boring quests when someone else can go and do all those boring quests and me and my crew can just gank them as soon as they're at the turn-in island? That's usually what happens, and that was my experience playing the game. Every time you'd go and get even a decent amount of loot, you'd basically get ganked as soon as you as soon as you reached the turn-in island. They'd board your ship, or they'd do their best to try to sink you, and then they'd steal all your loot and turn it in themselves. So, all that work you did, it was for nothing. And by the way, aside from ship-to-ship battles, the hand-to-hand PvP is the most boring thing imaginable. The whole thing literally boils down to just the gunplay. And by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet, but guns, you get 5 shots, and you gotta go to a container on one of the ships and reload. But when you're in PvP, what it is one person backtracks, and another person tries to attack them with their sword and they can't even catch up to the person that's backtracking, so they end up getting shot up. That was my experience. You've just got to sit there and fight with your 5 rounds, and whenever you run out, hope that the other person that you're trying to fight hasn't still doesn't have any rounds of their own, because you're gonna get fucking shot up just trying to get within range to hit them with your sword. Because for some reason you move at an ungodly fast speed whenever you're running backwards, and because of the way ganking works and the limited crew size, if someone gets a surprise attack, they're usually going to win the fight because they've knocked a few of your crew out, and they can easily just shoot the rest of them. But anyways, off the topic of PvP, let's say that for some reason you didn't get ganked and were able to turn in that stuff. You know what kind of rewards you're going to get? You're going to get some magical golden coins. You know what those magical coins are going to be used for? Cosmetics. Yep, the whole progression in this game relies on cosmetics. You don't get better gear, you don't get talents, you don't get special abilities, you get cosmetic items. So, let's say you decide to play the game. You're having a blast doing the same repetitive quests over and over. You engage in PvP, steal people's stuff, and turn it in so you can get all that sweet, sweet cosmetic items. Can you just see how boring that sounds? Or imagine, I guess would be a better word. I just can't even imagine like replaying the game because I just had such a boring time. In fact, I tried getting a refund on the game, and because I got apparently they don't give refunds with digital distribution on the Windows Store, which is a load of crap. The only other game I've ever returned in my life was No Man's Sky, and this would have been the second game, but I couldn't get a refund on this one. Now, I know I've talked a lot of negative in the review because well, there's a lot of negative in the game, but I must say the water graphics in this game are amazing. It's probably the most realistic water ever, well, I've ever seen anyway. The game has a lot of like really cool concepts, like the compass, like just having to navigate with a crew. But I mean, with the small crews, it's just a pain in the ass. Like I could live with, like I said before, I could live without having to use the ropes to lower and raise the sails. In short, don't buy the game. Like there was a lot of potential here, but they kind of just wasted it, and it might turn into another case of No Man's Sky, where they wait a year or two after it's released to put anything worthwhile in game. If you're wanting a good pirate game, like I mentioned it before, get Blackwake because it's a hell of a lot better. It's not focused on like the questing, journeying and stuff. It's more of just like combat simulator, but the gunplay in the game feels a lot better. If you guys never played Blackwake, it's usually, unless they've changed, I know they put a big patch in recently, but normally it's 3 ships against 3 ships, and then there can be varying crews up for, I think one of the ships can have up to 16 players on it, but everyone has to work together to sink the other team ships, but you've got to restock supplies, load the cannons. The damage are realistic, and I mean, in Sea of Thieves, it's just holes and hit points. Well, the point that the cannonballs hit, but like this has like somewhat realistic damage where it'll take a chunk out of your ship where it hits, and then those got to be repaired. And water's got to be emptied out. And I've also heard that one of the recent patches they added more land combat in there. I know. That was always one of the biggest problems with Blackwake was you wouldn't use the melee and ranged weapons very much. It's more ship to ship combat, so I guess they're trying to do that. But anyways, like I said, buy Blackwake, don't buy Sea of Thieves. Save your money. $60 is a damn lot of money.